That's weird. That's weird. Kind of weirding me out.
You are a sad, strange little man.
Crazy. This is crazy. This is crazy. Isn't that weird?
That's weird, man.
It's strange.
What's up, campers? Welcome back to Camp Strange. I am your camp counselor, Alex Tobin.
And I'm your other camp counselor, David Stokes.
And we're back and ready to tell you weird stories, weird, creepy, strange stories. And David, you were going to tell me something that happened to you at the grocery store?
Well,
you said you would not tell me until we got on record.
You said we're back. And that kind of has to do with my story being that I'm not allowed to go back to your grocery store next to your place.
Wait, what? What did you okay, you just went over there.
Yeah.
What did you do?
I went over there and I was like, I need a little snack, a little bit of fuel before we started and maybe some beers. And I went to the deli in the back.
This is a Vons, by the way, if you guys don't know. It's Vons.
And I went to the deli and I decided to get some chicken back there and asked for some chicken, and they're like, oh yeah, like 1 second. And they came back and they're like, oh, what do you want? I was like, oh, the chicken. She's like, and they were like, oh, that's right, yeah. And they're like, oh, I got that. And I said, thank you, sir. And she
wait,
said,
no, you did not.
Yeah, and she said, that's ma'am to you. And
that's my worst fucking nightmare.
Yeah. And I legitimately thought it was a man.
That's on par with, oh my god, when are you due? And then she's like, and then they're like, I'm not pregnant.
Yeah, see, I just avoid that. But honestly, I just was like not paying attention because I was talking to like clearly a man at first.
Oh, and it was a man, and then they switched people?
Kind of, but I still thought that she was a guy.
No, I meant like the first person you talked to was a man, and then they went to the back, and the next person that walked out, you were like, oh, maybe another gentleman.
Yeah.
But the thing is, who says thank you, sir, in the first place?
Oh, I said, yes, sir.
That's still... When do you ever say sir in real life? Do you say that a lot?
Yeah.
Do you really?
Yeah.
God, I just say thank you.
Yeah, I'm a fucking
androgynous,
idiot. It's 2018. Who's to say what's who and whom is a sir?
I said not non-gender pronoun. Thank you.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, was it... I don't know. Were they trans, or was it just a manly looking woman?
She was a manly looking woman.
Okay, that is really
you're
fucked.
And I was just like, oh, I'm so sorry. I was like,
oh my god.
I was like, this is my first meal. I just got off work, and I was like, I'm delirious. And she goes, she goes, oh, you haven't eaten all day? I was like, yeah. She's like, oh, I get that. She goes, here, and she gave me 2 JoJo's.
Oh my god.
And a chicken wing. She's like, here, eat these so you don't collapse on your way out of here. And I was like, oh, thank you so much.
Oh, you saved that really nicely.
Yeah.
My heart was like hurting right in that instance, right? It
was real woof. I have to hide from the deli from now on if we go over there.
Well, I mean, the thing that I felt more bad for is the fact that you said that, and then I was like, oh, she's gonna go home now and be like, oh, I'm so ugly or something. But then, like, you kind of like played it off, and you're like, hey, like, oh, I'm sorry, I wasn't even paying attention. Like, it's almost like I'm a dumb person type thing. But damn,
I wasn't just like, whoa, dude, really? Dude,
that's
it was bad. And then the first guy that was there came around the corner, and he just like looked at me and gave me like a face like, oh shit.
no, like he heard the whole thing from the back and was like
almost as if I wasn't the first person to do it.
Been there.
Yeah.
Oh my god, man.
She was homely.
I mean, you don't stop.
I know I should stop before I get myself in trouble.
Oh man.
No, she was very nice, but
super nice of her.
It also didn't help that she was maybe 6 inches taller than the
other worker.
No, the barrier of like the heat glass lamp thing. So like I could barely see her too.
Oh, she wasn't tall.
I could maybe see from the bottom lip up.
Oh, okay. The mustache.
The mustache and the missing teeth.
No. Are you serious? I don't know. Oh, no. Stop. Okay, let's stop. That's not...
She had a hat on that was really low.
No, she sounds super nice. Stop it. Let's stop this right now. She sounds super nice, and she gave you potato wedges, and...
Yeah, no, she was a sweetheart. Yeah. I'm just trying to defend myself for my...
Your horribleness?
Yeah, I'm a piece of shit.
God damn.
I'm a piece of shit. Daisy.
I'm a piece of shit. It ain't hard to fucking tell. Anyway, wow. So, I mean, that was the strangest story that I've heard all night.
Yeah, I hope your Vons doesn't listen to our podcast.
They're big
Probably
listeners.
Probably.
I go in there and promote all the time.
I bet.
But that Vaughn's is really bad because it's always like it's at two really big cross streets. So every time you go in there at night, like everyone's trying to get something on their way home, and the lines are super fucking long. And I've worked in grocery before. I worked in grocery like every job, like from 16 and a half to like how old am I now? No, till like
13,
like 20 and 22 or something like that. I worked in like grocery, and I have to tell you, like they should have way more cashiers there for how busy that store is. But I don't know.
Well, luckily there was no one in front of me. I got there real quick. I didn't want to stay any longer.
Yeah, I mean, fuck, man. Oh, Jesus. Okay. Well, I think that's enough fucking spookiness for this.
That was the most terrifying moment of my life.
You exhausted me with that story.
Yeah,
my body was tense.
You want to end
the
it
entire
here?
time.
We're almost at 6 minutes.
Yeah, I think so. That's all I can fucking take.
Yeah.
Wow. I don't think I've ever done that in the history of ever.
I think it was the first time I'd ever done it.
Yeah, I've definitely went up when I was a child. Went up to a lady, hugged her from behind, and said like "mommy," and then she turned around. She's like, "You're not little," and I was like,
No.
"Yeah, I'm 24." No,
I was gonna say no.
I did that, and it wasn't my mom, and yeah, it was. I was humiliated.
I did that to a significant other, thinking that a stranger was that person.
That's fucking bad.
And
you have poor judgment.
Okay, same height, same hair color, same sweatshirt color.
What did you do?
I hugged them from behind in the checkout lane and said, "What are you buying?" And they turned around, and it was not them.
I love it because it could definitely be like the thing you said could be skewed as like I knew this wasn't the person who I thought it was. Like I knew this was a random person. Like, what are you buying? Like this is like you're creepy. Like, so some guys are so bad at hitting on girls. He's like, this is gonna work. And he's like, what you buying? Not like
what are we eating later?
Yeah, not like oh, I thought you put that back, or like this seems like he's clearly I'm the wrong person. But what you said sounded like you're just really bad at hitting on people.
Yeah.
So
actually, a similar thing happened like last week at the grocery store, and Riley and I were getting food, and I went to go get something, and I came back, and Riley goes, "Where did all of our food go?" I grabbed the wrong cart.
Wait, what was in the cart? A canned ham and some staples?
It was a watermelon and some green beans.
Okay. Watermelon is pretty obvious to like not.
But we were eyeing the green beans earlier, and because we were like, oh, we should do green beans this week, and then we decided to go with little potatoes.
This is important, groundbreaking shit.
And I went all the way back across the store to find our original cart, and finally this little lady comes coming up, and she was.
Oh, so you stole it from an old lady?
Oh, 100%.
Usually, an old lady is the one who steals my cart.
Yeah,
which is like they grab it and then.
Hey,
they start walking.
as far as I'm aware, maybe she did steal it first, and then I just grabbed the next one.
Oh.
And the weirdest thing about it was I remember distinctly accidentally kicking. You know, in some grocery carts they have that steel kind of like spur thing behind the wheel.
Yeah.
So you can't do wheelies.
Yeah. Is that what that's for?
I don't know. I'm guessing. I distinctly remember kicking it when it was on the left, and I remember pushing it back to where Riley was, and it was on the right, and I was like, huh.
You just like...
It's like, that's weird. I didn't think of what was in the cart, but I noticed that it was a different model of cart, which is just to show how
long did you have the cart before you noticed?
Probably like a minute and a half, 2 minutes.
That's too long.
I mean, I had to go find Riley and stuff, and then she was the one that pointed it out. Yeah.
Speaking of picking up different carts, my parents told me when I was like really young. You know when Furbies were all the rage.
When?
Still,
okay.
But my parents, when Furbies came out, they're like, we need to get Furbies because that's all they're fucking talking about.
Yeah.
So they went to like a Toys R Us or I don't know some mall, and they're buying 2 Furbies, and they're really hard to get your hands on.
Oh yeah.
And this apparently they like left their cart for a second, and then they came back and somebody had jacked the entire cart. It was like cutthroat in the 90s.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So,
Before social media, when people didn't have cameras in their pocket and they couldn't just like put people on blast, it was like, go fuck yourself, buddy.
yeah, so
You're not gonna put me on Facebook.
Yeah, she stole the fucking cart, and my parents had to go to a different store to get Furbies because those were like the last Furbies.
Yeah.
It
Oh,
was-
I remember
it was
the
like
Furby
it was
rage.
like it was like Jingle All the Way when they're trying to get Turbo Man. Remember that?
That's what's crazy though, is like people are gonna watch that today and be like, "Oh, it's so unrealistic," but like that was
Before
what it
Amazon?
was. Yeah,
Yeah.
before Amazon or like eBay and shit like that. Like, especially the Furby and Beanie Baby,
Furby.
the Furby and Beanie Baby days. Shit got down.
Beanie Babies. I had the Princess Diana Beanie Babies.
I still have it.
My mom was like
Glass case.
My mom, like our family, my dad, not my dad, but like my mom and like me and my brother, we were like into Beanie Babies.
Oh, my dad, big beanie head, big time Beanie Baby head.
Furbays and Beanie Baby heads.
Yeah, I remember having a Furby, and someone said if you swore around it, it would learn
Oh my
bad
god,
words.
dude, same.
And I would play. This is the best story I've ever told.
Wow, you
would-
haven't even told it yet, and you're already like really confident.
I would go to elementary school, and I would leave the Furby at home with playing the Limp Bizkit album.
Dude, you are so lame.
So sick.
No, Limp Bizkit was good. So it was just
So
like
fucking sick.
so when you came back, your Furby was talking about the Nookie.
The Nookie for sure. Yeah, big
yeah.
time.
Yeah, it's I definitely heard that rumor. I tried it.
It didn't work.
My mom one time she was walking down the hall because I eventually got the Furby, and I like left the Furby somewhere, and she walked down the hall and it like set off the sensor, and
Yeah.
it was like, oh, June oh, like that, and she's like,
Oh,
oh
yeah.
my god, and like, I mean, we picked that thing up like probably 5 years later, or maybe even more than that, in the closet, and we like found it, and it like still had juice in it, but it was like it had like
I wasn't considering that as like a battery term. I was just thinking like your Furby was full of juices.
no, it wasn't full of juices.
Young, dumb, and full of
No. And the Furby was like talking, but it was like the half battery thing. Like when you get
Oh,
like
yeah,
you ever
so
gotten like
good.
yeah, you ever gotten the Billy Bass, and then like
Oh,
it's
yeah.
like a two like really low batteries.
Oh,
And
yeah.
it's like hey yeah, singing on a rum.
Can we get one of those? If I buy one of those, will you put it up in your place? Because I know I can't keep it in mine.
I mean, maybe
We don't have to put batteries in it.
We could build out this little podcast studio and have like a
Right
little
above it.
Billy Bass. But,
Yeah.
yeah, I'd be down for that.
No, yeah, I remember. I probably a little bit before your time, but I had a tape player, little Walkman. And,
The one from Home Alone with the Macaulay Culkin one where like he talked in it and then like played it back, and it's like, I want a room for two.
I think we had one of those, but no, I remember it was just like a good old, like you put the tape in, it had no mic on or anything like that.
Okay.
I remember listening to my cassette tape of NSYNC's first album.
Oh, what's that called? No Strings Attached? No.
I think it's just NSYNC. I think it's
Probably.
self-titled.
Yeah.
But I remember, for some reason, I just have such a good memory of the batteries dying and like their song going into like slow motion, like demonic.
Yeah, that's the thing. It always comes out demonic. So when it
Yeah.
comes out of a fish or a Furby, it's like terrifying. You're
Yeah.
like, oh my god, like this is my nightmare.
I'm really set on getting one of those.
A big mouth bass.
Yeah, let's check Amazon real quick.
Okay. But yeah, I mean, big mouth bass, really fun. We got to build out this.
Is it Big Mouth Bass or is it Billy Mouth Bass?
I mean, does it? No, I think it's a big mouth bass. 'Cause
I
it
could have
talks.
sworn the name Billy was in there.
It talks. I mean, big mouth Billy Bass.
Holy shit, these things are a lot more expensive than I thought they
Well,
were.
you're probably getting like the retro ones right now. You can't get that one. Get like the new one, like the knockoff shitty one.
No, Frankie the Fish Walmart singing McDonald's Fillet
Fillet O Fish.
Fish toy. I've seen his TV commercials, $110.
Wait, it sings a Fillet O Fish song.
Yeah,
There's a Fillet O Fish song.
the box has a little word bubble saying, "Give me back that Fillet O Fish."
Okay, I want that one.
Yeah, you're not getting the $110.
Christmas is coming up.
Oh my god! Oh, as you said that, there is a big mouth Billy Bass sings for the holidays with
No,
a
I don't-
Christmas hat on.
I don't want that one. I want Fillet O Fish or nothing.
Holy shit.
I
Yeah.
used to eat those when I was younger. It's fucking disgusting.
Here's an original big mouth Billy Bass singing sensation fish motion activated for $181.
Dude, those are all way too expensive. You can find one at Walmart or like QVC. You're not looking at the right places. You're looking at like collectors, like rare Fillet O Fish singing. Like, I just want one that sings like, I used to have a shark that sang like, da-na-na, pearly whites, and it was like talking about teeth or some shit like that.
Well, we
I
have
can't
one
remember the
here
song.
that's from Jaws.
I mean, we'll have to look further into this. I think we should get into some stories. I mean, what time are we at right now, right?
Yeah, we're
We
at
hit our
story
quota.
time. We're at 15 minutes.
We didn't have anything particularly spooky to talk about today, so we were just talking about,
Bullshit.
Fillet of fishes and shit. And
Give me back that Fillet O Fish.
I don't think he talks like that. He has to talk like a bass, which everybody knows is a deep baritone.
That's true.
So
sexy.
yeah,
We all know bass is the sexiest of fishes.
mm-hmm.
What them big mouths.
Biggest mouth in the game. Actually, see, unfortunately, you'd think a whale would be good, but they choke on a golf ball.
Yeah, they got little bird mouths.
You know, you
Little
can't-
beaks.
Yeah, you fit a golf ball in there.
People don't realize whales are real beaky.
No, well, okay. That's anyway.
Is that a bad word?
The point I was getting at, I don't even know what that means. Beaky. I just meant
Got
like
a real beak-like mouth.
I'm just saying. Whales don't have. They got tiny throats, and it's a
They eat the smallest things in the ocean.
krill.
Yup. All right, tell your story, goddammit.
Okay, here we go. So I'm here to tell you about a man that goes by the name of Charles Chuck Morgan and his mysterious death. So in 1977, a 39-year-old Charles Chuck Morgan lived with his wife Ruth and their 4 daughters in Tucson, Arizona, and was the president of his own escrow company. I don't know what escrow is.
I was about to ask you because I hear that all the time. It's a fancy person's word,
I
but
think it is a fancy person's word. I think it's a
people who wear belts use that word.
realty. Like houses in escrow.
Reality?
Ow.
Realtor.
Ow.
You talking about?
What?
You talking about real estate?
No, escrow, a bond, deed, or other document kept in the custody of a third party, taking effect only when a specified condition has been fulfilled. Okay, still don't really know that.
Yeah, I don't get
100%.
that.
It's a bond or a deed. So, yeah, he dealt in bonds and deeds and stuff. So he owned his own escrow company.
Okay.
I just know a lot of houses are in escrow. That's what I see on the signs. House in escrow. Anyway.
Believe it or not, that's not a town.
So it's not. So on March 22nd, Chuck vanished without explanation after dropping his 2 daughters off at school. 3 days later, he came stumbling back into the house at 2 a.m. His hands were bound with plastic handcuffs, and he pointed to his throat to imply he could not speak. What are you laughing at? That he's fucking bound?
With plastic handcuffs? I can only think of like...
Zip ties.
Oh, okay. I was
Yeah.
thinking of like the shitty ones you
Children's.
got from like the arcade that were basically made out of McDonald's drink lids.
I originally thought the same thing. I was like, plastic handcuffs? You couldn't get out of those? But so his hands were zip tied, I guess.
Okay. That's why I always keep 3 zip ties in my sock everywhere I go.
Just to bound people?
If I have to.
Okay. So he pointed to his throat to imply he could not speak. When Ruth grabbed a pen and paper, Chuck wrote that he had been kidnapped and his throat had been painted with a hallucinogenic drug which would drive him insane or destroy his nervous system and kill him if he ingested it.
That sounds sick.
That's intense.
I mean, yeah, no, that's intense.
Now, what artist do you think they got hired to paint the back of his throat?
I'm sorry, what?
One with the steady hand. He said his throat had been painted with a hallucinogenic drug. I just wonder, like, you have to get an artist with a steady hand.
Yeah, I
There's
thought that was an interesting verb.
It was. I read so many of these stories, and all of them said that he said his throat was painted with the hallucinogenic drug. So very, very weird.
Maybe it was a drug that
I would have said
was
coated. Coated would have been better.
Well, maybe it was like a liquid drug, a thick liquid that they used a paintbrush just to boop.
Maybe. I don't know. It's kind of weird. But he then wrote that, so he couldn't speak. So he then wrote that the entire family's lives would be in danger if they contacted the police or a doctor. So Ruth spent the next week nursing Chuck back to health, on her own. At one point, Chuck wrote out, "My Treasury ID is missing," and hinted that he was secretly working as an agent for the federal government.
I feel like that's just a good go-to when things start getting real weird.
Yeah,
I feel like if like I started like doing weird shit, I'd be like, oh no, I'm with the FBI. Like this will all make sense in the end.
Yeah, but like it's weird because like when you're like a father of two and you know like you have a wife, it's a little more weird to say shit like that. But if like you're like a guy who's never had a family or like close ties with anybody or responsibilities, you could be like say random shit. So there's a part of me that kind of believes that he is maybe like connected with the FBI as of right now because you're like he has more at stake.
He's got you.
He's less crazy than that guy who doesn't have any like human connection. You know what I mean? So after Chuck recovered, he would not provide any more details about what happened, but became super paranoid and protective of his family. So he didn't say anything because he thought that by him bringing it up, that it would get his family killed. So he's like, I'm not going to give you any more details because ignorance is bliss and they could use any details I tell you against you.
Yeah.
On June 7th, Chuck showed up at his father's house and said that if anything ever happened to him, there was a letter which would explain everything. This alleged letter never surfaced and Chuck disappeared again. Fuck Chuck. Are you kidding me? So that's what I hate. He's like, I have a letter. If anything ever happens, it gives you all the details. I don't think he ever really told him where the letter was because he just disappeared too soon.
Is this what that show Chuck is based off of?
I've never seen that show, Chuck, but I doubt that this guy works at a
He was like
Best Buy.
He was like
He's a Geek Squad
Best Buy FBI agent.
Yeah, no. This guy obviously worked in escrow.
Well, that's not
much
sexy.
higher than any Best Buy would ever know of word.
That's not as sexy as the Geek Squad showing up to your grandmother's living room to install the internet.
Do they install internets?
Yeah, they plug things in and go, whew, job's done. They wipe the beat of sweat away.
$90.
$90. I plugged something into your wall.
So fuck.
That's why I like a deep part of my mind always wants to flip them off when I see them on the highway.
Oh, I know. I mean, I don't know. I mean, they're useful, but you just know that they're ripping you off at the same time. So, yeah. I mean, it's just like, fuck, I really need them right now because I'm not smart enough to do it, or I'm too afraid to take my computer apart and break it. But if they break it, then I have like a warranty on it. So
I just think you can Google any question you have and figure it out. Exactly. You fixed your Xbox by yourself.
Yeah, I took it apart.
Or you could have paid them $300 to do it, or just buy a new Xbox.
It was $90, but I paid $10 for a Wi-Fi card. So
it's ridiculous.
Saved $80. Thank you.
You can do anything by Googling it.
YouTube is amazing. Anyway.
Yeah.
9 days later, Ruth received a call from an anonymous woman who said Chuck was okay and referenced the Bible passage Ecclesiastic 12:1-8 before hanging up. So Ecclesiastic 12:1-8 is a Bible verse, and it's, I mean, should I read the whole thing or should I just read like a little excerpt from it?
That's your call, Chief.
I'll read it really quick because I don't really know what it means, but maybe you guys can interpret this in a certain way that...
I don't know shit about the Bible.
It's super weird. It doesn't... Yeah, I know. Everything in the Bible is very, like, cryptic to a certain extent. It's like, I don't know what they're trying to say. I mean,
that's what you get when you get a book by Shakespeare.
Yeah. He wrote the Bible?
Have you ever seen that conspiracy theory?
That he wrote... that might be an episode.
Yeah. No, there's some, like, mathematical thing that you can, like... take each paragraph and like every other like I'm just gonna
people have too much time on their hands.
I'm gonna whiff it here, but like every other like 46 or some like whatever age he died at, like whatever number of that like words, it like makes a sentence that's like
the number 23 type shit.
Yeah.
Okay. So here's Ecclesiastic 12:1-8, and it goes, "Remember your Creator in the days of your youth, before the days of trouble come and the years approach, when you will say, I find no pleasure in them, before the sun and the light and the moon and the stars grow dark and the clouds return after the rain, when the keepers of the house tremble and the strong men stoop, when the grinders cease because they are few and those looking through the windows grow dim, when the doors to the street are closed and the sound of the grinding fades, when the people rise up at the sound of birds, but all their songs grow faint, when people are afraid of heights and of danger in the streets, when the almond tree blossoms and the grasshopper drags itself along, and desire no longer is stirred. Then people go to their eternal home, and the mourners go about the streets. Remember him before the silver cord is severed and the golden bowl is broken, before the pitcher is shattered at the spring and the wheel broken at the well, and the dust returns to the ground it came from, and the spirit returns to God who gave it. Meaningless, meaningless, says the teacher. Everything is meaningless.
That's in the Bible?
Apparently.
No wonder people get together every weekend to read that shit.
Fucking insane.
That was so many words that I just don't understand what it was.
That's what I mean. It's like super cryptic and like
Yeah.
So
That's a good book you can read for your entire life because you don't know what's going on.
yeah, so this lady calls and
Sorry, I don't want to knock the Bible. I don't care what religion you do.
but I wasn't really paying attention to what you were saying.
Do your
because
thing.
I don't ever listen to you. But so this lady calls, says that Chuck
Good
is
idea.
okay. She says Chuck's okay and references that Bible passage before hanging up. 2 days after that, Chuck's body was found next to his vehicle in a desert area 40 miles outside of Tucson. He had been shot in the back of the head, and his .357 Magnum was lying next to him. Chuck had gunshot residue on his left hand, but even though he was right-handed, the police ruling was a suicide. So he had. I mean, that's still kind of weird, right?
Yeah, it's less unique. Like it's definitely like interesting, but I don't think I would rule into like dominant hands when it comes to like a suicide.
Well, here's the thing too. The crazy thing is, one, the gun's in his left hand, residues in his left hand. He's a righty. Two, this is the big part. You could shoot yourself in the head with your non-dominant hand.
Shit, you could do it with your feet.
Two, yeah, shotgun maybe. But two is that he shot himself in the back of the head.
Oh,
That's a little harder, right? I mean, we're both pointing fake guns at the back of our head right now.
What type of gun was it again?
.357 Magnum, which
So
has a long barrel.
That's gonna be like I'm gonna go ahead and say like a 9-inch barrel.
That's a long barrel. I don't
Yeah.
know how long a barrel for .357.
I don't think there's
Magnum is,
snub nose .357.
but that's fucking hard. I mean,
Yeah.
like I can do it with my right hand so much easier than my left hand. Like, why would you even do it with your left hand?
No, realistically, like you have to also consider like depending on the angle, of course. Like I'm not trying to get all forensic on this shit, but like you have to factor in the length of the barrel for sure for like doing that.
Because I mean, and also like where
You
it,
got to
like,
be really flexible to be able to hold your hand that much further behind your head.
I mean, the recoil on that in itself, when you shoot, it's gonna make the bullet go like
Straight up.
Yeah, exactly. Or whatever. I think it's gonna go more to the side, so you have to see the bullet trajectory.
Yeah.
But immediately the police are like suicide. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, there's obviously other things going on here. However, like I said, there were major problems with the suicide ruling, such as the fact that Chuck was wearing a bulletproof vest and there were no fingerprints on the gun. Well, he started wearing the bulletproof vest because he got so paranoid. So that's like kind of weird.
If you're gonna go shoot yourself, why don't you take it off? I don't think those are very comfortable.
Yeah, they don't look that comfortable. They look pretty tight. Another really weird thing is one of Chuck's teeth was wrapped in a handkerchief inside the vehicle, along with written directions to the location where he was. That's fucking weird. Why does he have a tooth wrapped in a handkerchief?
Did it say what tooth?
No, it didn't say what tooth.
Did it say what color the handkerchief was?
Probably white. But here's some other weird things that were going on inside his pockets.
Keep them coming.
In the vehicle.
Keep them coming.
Chuck also had a $2 bill clipped inside his underwear, which had none other than the word ecclesiastic and a 12 written on it.
Oh, I have a $2 bill in my glove compartment.
So here's what I'm thinking. He hid something was going down, and he hid the $2 bill with the because people keep a $2 bill in their wallet for like sometimes they keep it for good luck, sometimes they keep it because they're like, this is cool, like I have a $2 bill.
Yeah.
People usually never spend it, so that might have been the only like paper money he had or something to write on. So he wrote on that, and then he's like, well, if I'm gonna get killed and I want to pass a note on, put it inside your underwear, because most of the time like.
Well, it's also illegal to shred a dollar bill, like any form of currency. So
yeah, that's why he's
guys
worried
that killed him
about
are
that.
like, fuck, we can't shred this. Like, we can kill this guy, but we cannot shred this bill.
Commit one crime, and there's like, we can't start stacking up crimes like
One
this.
at a time, man.
So he put it inside of his underwear, so like the people whoever killed him wouldn't find it, so he could pass this note along. But he wrote ecclesiastic, which is exactly what that woman on the phone said to his wife.
That's a good bluff, though.
9 days earlier.
Yeah.
So really weird, and the word 12 written on it, or the number 12, along with arrows pointing to 1 and 8 in the bill's serial number. So in the serial number, like
Okay,
at the
yeah,
top
yeah,
of the
yeah,
bill,
yeah.
the 1 and the 8 had arrows to them.
Okay.
So 12, 1 through 8.
Yeah.
There was also a list of 7 Spanish surnames starting with the letters A through G, and the individuals pictured signing the Declaration of Independence on the bill were numbered 1 through 7. A crudely drawn map was sketched on the bill of some roads leading to Robles Junction and Salis City, I might have pronounced that wrong, but 2 towns near the Mexican border. Both of those towns are known for cartel kidnappings or something like that.
Yeah.
I read, so I thought that was really interesting. And
It's one of the sketchier places to cross into Mexico.
I guess so. But
Okay.
so he also had the signers of the Declaration of Independence that are pictured on the $2 bill. They're
Yep.
labeled 1 through 7, and he had eight or seven Spanish surnames written, 7 Spanish surnames written on the dollar and the $2 bill. And I saw them, and I can't remember what the names were. We'll post a picture of it, obviously, but just random last names written on the bill, which is really weird too. The police soon received a call from a woman calling herself Green Eyes, who claimed that she was the same woman who phoned Ruth Morgan. That was the same lady who said ecclesiastic.
Yeah.
She said she met Chuck in a motel room shortly before his death, and that he showed her a briefcase containing $60,000, which he was planning to use to buy himself out of a contract on his life. So apparently he was trying to pay off a hitman.
Okay. What year is this again?
This was 77.
Okay, so that's a good amount of money.
Yeah, so, I mean, yeah, it was enough for, a hitman to... A lot of people... There's a couple theories behind this before we finish, but there's a couple theories that he went to go pay off the hitman. Like, the hitman called him and said... Or, like, one of the other hitmans is like, hey, you have a contract out in your life. You could pay off the hitman, and, you're out of the contract. And he's like, cool. So he got a bunch of money, and then he went to go pay him off, and people believe that the hitman shot him and then took the money.
Cross, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, what do you have to lose at that point?
Yeah.
So, but it's weird to think that whoever's 357 Magnum it was, whether it was his or the hitman's, if it's the hitman's, he left it there, which is kind of a weird thing to do.
Yeah, it's
but
bush league.
Unless he wanted to make it look like a suicide, but like, why shoot yourself in the back of the head? Anyway, there's so many questions in this, but weeks later, 2 men claiming to be FBI agents visited Ruth at her home and tore the place apart to search for something. They never said what they were looking for, and the FBI would later deny having any record of 2 agents visiting the Morgan home. The case caught the eye of an investigating journalist named Don Devereaux, who discovered that Morgan was likely using his escrow company, big word, we don't know, using his escrow company to do money laundering for the mafia. At one point, he was doing over $1 billion in escrow work by purchasing gold bullion and platinum. In February 1990, the story was featured on Unsolved Mysteries, and their tip line received over 600 calls.
Oh, wow.
So, I mean, it seems like...
People be talking.
Exactly. I mean, it just seems like such a weird case for 600 people to have some kind of ties in. But that's the thing.
Yeah.
If they know something about his business, then, if you heard something on the streets of like somebody being like, oh, I heard Morgan's doing... he's working with the mafia. Don't go near him. So, like, they could have, easily been like, oh, I know a little bit about that. Let me call this number.
Yeah.
So, Devereaux, the investigator, checked out these leads and learned that the massive money laundering operation Morgan was involved with likely extended beyond the mafia and organized crime into branches of the government such as the CIA.
Ooh.
So that's another really, really strange thing going on. Money laundering in the CIA. Because originally, apparently, he said that he worked for the government, and what he did, like, he didn't give much information, but he said that he worked against organized crime. Like, what he was doing there was basically trying to take down organized crime, like the mafia and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like, within the government.
With his escrow.
With his big old escrow.
His big old thick escrow.
So, on May 14th, 1990, a Phoenix man named Doug Johnson was shot behind the left ear. This might sound weird because we didn't talk about Doug Johnson yet.
Yeah.
But in 1990, a man named Doug Johnson was shot behind the left ear while parking his vehicle in the lot of the computer graphics company he worked at. Since Johnson's wallet and other valuables were left behind, the murder resembled a professional hit, even though Johnson did not seem to have any enemies. It turned out that Don Devereaux It turned out that Don Devereaux lived directly across the street from the parking lot. Devereaux eventually learned from sources that a contract had been put out on his life, likely because of his investigation into the Morgan case. Since Johnson and Devereaux both drove similar-looking Toyota station wagons, and there was only a one-digit difference in the address of Devereaux's residence and the computer graphics company, it seemed that a contract killer might have mistaken Johnson for Devereaux and murdered a completely innocent man.
Whoops, Daisy.
Yeah, God, like, I thought hitmen were supposed to be diligent and like take their time.
What type of degree do you think you get from college to be a hitman? Broadcasting? Broadcast digital media?
I'm gonna go out on a limb and say they didn't.
Criminal science? I mean, realistically.
They went to shooting school, I guess, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know.
A little six-shooter school?
More of like do you know how to make a makeshift silencer? That's the kind of things you need to know. Like, yeah, of course, potato.
With a flashlight.
What?
Walking Dead. They had it.
They made a silencer out of a flashlight?
Yeah, it was really stupid.
Just use a potato, man.
Yeah.
Actually,
but it's a one-shot go, isn't it, with the potato? Because it explodes and there's potato everywhere.
I mean, you could probably shoot through the same hole again, right?
No.
No?
No, I'm pretty sure using the potato is a one-shot thing, and cops, they call it, when they get to the scene of the crime, they go, oh, we got some more tater tots here.
Is that what they say?
Yeah.
But they go, poor Spud.
Poor Spud.
But like, do you know that that Robert Pickton, who was a serial killer, he used a dildo as a silencer.
Fuck yeah.
So that's pretty interesting.
That's sick.
I mean, you could probably YouTube, like, what can you use as a... You probably don't want to Google that. You'll end up on a list somewhere.
Yeah, or just at terrible websites.
Yeah, like dildo and gun websites. You don't want to buy your dildos and your guns from the same website, I'm telling you right now.
I mean, if you're American-made and you're a patriot, you might.
You make a good point, you know? American-made, you know? So, to end the story... The contract hit was never actually carried out on Devereaux, and he is still alive today. But no one uncovered who was responsible for the deaths of Chuck Morgan and Doug Johnson. And it's really, really weird because, you know, these murders, one happened in 77, one happened in 90.
Yeah.
So there's a
time.
Good gap between them. And obviously investigative journalism or just being an investigator or whatever, that takes years to try to gather information. Maybe Devereaux was close, and that's why they're like, oh, shit, we have to like kill him right now. Maybe he wasn't a problem for a while. But I think the real question is who done it? You know what I mean?
Who done it?
Was it the CIA? Was it the Mafia? Was it the cartel? I mean, it's really weird. They never talked much about the cartel, but there were 7 Spanish surnames.
Yeah.
And then he also had, you know, maps to...
I mean, the CIA and the cartel are the same thing, right?
I mean, I don't really know, like...
If I don't show up for the next podcast, that's why.
And yeah, exactly. I hope no cartel or CIA listen to this, but we might be onto something. But I just mean, they might be working in cahoots in some sorts, but I don't really know. You know what I mean? Like... The U.S. government and the Taliban were working together at one point. So I mean, is it that surprising that the CIA and the cartel could be working for some reasons?
Yeah,
I don't know.
Greatest crossover ever.
I mean, what do you think? Well, what do you think was who do you think killed him? Do you think he actually worked for the government? Do you think he was crazy? Do you think that he was trying to save his ass and like cover himself for like his family to make it look like he wasn't part of this money laundering scheme by being like, I'm a secret agent, you have to help me, so like they don't even question why people are chasing him. There's like, oh my god, dad's a secret agent, not like, oh my god, dad stole a bunch of money from the cartel and now they're trying to kill him, you're a scumbag. You know, you look like a hero compared to a scumbag. So
yeah, I think it's the aliens.
You always think it's the aliens. But honestly, what do you think it was? I'm curious because I'm having like a lot of, I'm not the investigator behind this case, but I think I have to lean towards the mafia because
because the CIA won't hire a quote unquote hitman; they would just do it themselves.
Well, that's the thing. I don't think I think it was like an in-house hitman. I don't think it was a hired hitman. I think it was like a CIA operative or something.
Yeah, can you call a CIA operative a hitman?
Yeah, I mean, if they kill people in secret, then and like they have targets and stuff like that.
I don't think so.
What's the difference between a soldier and a hitman if they're sent out to kill one person?
One is government issued and one is hired. It's gun for hire.
That's not the qualifications for a hitman. If you're involved with the government at the same time, you're not a hitman.
I don't know, man. I feel like the term hitman is a very illegal.
Okay, so if he's in the
title.
government, you're an agent then.
Yeah.
Like James Bond isn't a hitman, he's an agent.
Oh, for sure.
So a hitman does something for money or an organization where he wants respect or something like that.
Yeah, it's not a government thing.
And an agent does something for the greater good. But that's the thing. Like if he's
no, it's just I think it's just really it's
same thing, right?
It comes down to who's doing the laws and who's breaking them.
Yeah, but I don't know because like.
I mean, it's all bullshit. They're all the same.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's more of like an ethical question because if he's a U.S. agent, then we're all rooting for him. But if he's like a Russian agent trying to kill U.S. people, we're like, you're a hitman, not an agent, you piece of shit. You know? So
fuck that guy.
So I think the mafia did it. They had a big presence in the Tucson area due to the Vegas move.
That makes sense. Yeah, I never really thought about that. Okay.
I read about that, and they're talking about they're the biggest in laundering, and they're the closest by.
Yeah.
Also, they could be cartel. Cartel's really close too. So it's one or the other. The Spanish names really threw me off. I thought it was the mafia for the entire time.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes I honestly forget the mafia is like a real thing because it's so glamorized and like in like Hollywood movies and stuff, and it's like I don't know. It's not like I've ever come in contact with the mafia, so for me personally,
you don't know you come in contact with a mafia when you see them.
Yeah, exactly.
They're
but
always
I'm
at
just
the
saying,
table next to you eating all the gabagool.
Exactly, the gabagool.
Yeah, they shoot you in the head, you fall in the place spaghetti. You know that?
Yeah, I know that.
Gun behind the toilet.
Yeah.
Forget about it.
You're gonna get killed by someone completely different, and I'm gonna get killed by someone. This podcast probably canceled.
Let's just hope that if the mafia does listen to this, that eventually they forget about it, right?
Next thing you know, there's gonna be
Pink, pink.
There's gonna be a mobster on one side of this table, and there's gonna be a cartel on the other side that have assassinated. Each one has killed one of us, and then they're just filling in and continuing this.
God, what an episode that would be! That would win a Tony.
Is that what podcasts win or Tonys?
Nope, that's a theater, but this is theater.
What would a podcast win? Would that be a Pulitzer?
Oh, Orson Welles' theater when he reads War of the Worlds, but we're not theater? Okay. Horse shit.
Would it be a Pulitzer?
I don't know.
No.
We're not winning any awards anytime soon. So
hey, man, you don't say that.
Let's just...
If my mom could give awards...
Yeah, you're right. We would have an award right now. But also, I mean, we kind of glazed over the fact that who the fuck was this woman, Green Eyes, who knew what was written on his dollar?
Yeah.
I would think that would just be like a practical joke or like, oh, that was kind of a weird thing. Maybe she knew about something, but like...
Precise.
I don't fucking know.
Precision.
And that Bible verse, that has no... I don't even know how to interpret that.
Yeah, I feel like maybe if I knew I was gonna die, I might find some random, one of the most confusing Bible verses and try to like make that a thing before I died, just to fuck with people.
It seems it's about dying, which is really interesting. It says in the last two lines are meaningless, says the teacher. Everything is meaningless. So I'm like, it's just a very,
very bleak,
pessimistic like view on life, and be like, people will go back to God once like everything starts falling apart. It seems like, and I don't know, maybe he didn't even write. I mean, they probably found out that he wrote on that $2 bill. It looked like his handwriting from the stories I read, but I was going to say maybe somebody else wrote it. So I don't know. Fuck. There's so many questions, and I would be pretty pissed if I was that dude's family. I would want a lot more answers, but...
Yeah. But you're not.
I'm not. I'm not his family. I'm not a Morgan, okay? If I was, only if I was.
Arthur Morgan. Sorry.
Oh, that's Red Dead. Yeah. Okay. Okay, and yeah, that's my story of the death of Chuck Morgan.
All right, let's talk about dogs. All types of dogs: small dogs, big dogs, brown dogs, bald dogs, tall dogs, short dogs.
You have this written?
Yeah, I wrote that.
You Dr. Seuss?
Maybe.
Dr. Seuss?
I mean, man's best friend. Ain't they all great?
Did you just that totally went over your head what I just said?
With Dr. Seuss?
I said Dr. Seuss.
Oh,
That's good, right?
that is good. Whoa.
Yeah, think
I don't
about
know if
that.
I can continue.
No, just like stop. Think about that. Oh, Dr. Seuss. Okay.
Okay, so
There you
yeah,
go.
man's best friend. Aren't they great? I just love them. I love all dogs, right? Well, today I'm going to talk about a bad boy. Not a good boy. And his name was...
Can I say something really quick
yeah,
before we start?
Yeah, cut me off. Let's go.
Is it sad to say that your best friend's a dog, even though they say dogs are man's best friend?
My dog's my best friend.
But like, I mean, like, what if you saw a guy and he's like, "Oh, who's your best friend?" He's like, my dog," and so it's like, "Oh, fuck, he doesn't have any friends."
I say that every time people ask me who my best friend is.
Well, that goes to show you, I'm only doing this podcast out of pity.
Yeah.
So, anyway, you start your story, okay? You
All right.
and your little dog, and
So this, yeah, like I was saying, I'm going to talk about a bad boy, not a good boy. And his name was Gerald Floyd Bettis.
who names a dog Gerald?
And it's not really a dog.
He's not a
He's
dog.
not really a dog.
Is he a beast of some sort?
Oh, we'll get into that. So,
Okay.
Bettis was born 1945 to Floyd and Aline Bettis. So, yeah, his middle name was his dad's name, not to confuse anybody.
Uh-oh.
So his name was Gerald.
There's a complex going on there already. He can't be his dad.
Never. So they tried very hard for years to have a child. You know, one of those situations. And I'm kind of thinking they should have just given on up.
Uh-oh. Bad seed.
Yeah, they should have given up before it was too late.
You got a rotten seed. That's
So-
that's your problem there.
Yeah.
Your pipes are all rusted.
No, it's just a rotten seed. Just a rotten boy.
He got rotten seed. You got rusty pipes. Let's not. Yeah, this is bad. This
This is a
kid's
bad
bad.
situation. So Gerald was a little shit from day one. People who knew him said, in quotes, his parents were good people, but Jared was a brat, vicious, and cruel.
It's weird to go from brat to vicious and cruel because brat is a little bit more lighthearted. Like, oh, he's a little brat, and then
Yeah.
vicious and cruel. How old was he? 3?
Yeah, I
What
don't know.
he's doing? Just pulling on people's hair, and you're like, you're vicious and cruel.
You want
I want to know what he did.
to know what he did?
I want to know what he did.
I'll tell you what he did. So Gerald would spend his days going about the neighborhood of Little Rock, Arkansas, or AR, Kansas, as some like to say, collecting stray cats and dogs,
Oh no, I knew it was coming to this.
which would kind of lead to how he would get the name Dog Boy.
Oh, okay. You know what's weird? It's weird that the adjective cruel is given to like strictly to people who like torture people or like cause like harm to
Cruel
like
and
not
abuse.
people but animals and like
Yeah.
you're like you're cruel. It's never like that's the only time that's used.
Yeah.
Vicious also, I mean, you can say like, oh, he's vicious on the field, but like cruel is like you're like
No one's like,
you're either
he's
holding
the best linebacker in our league. He's real cruel on those running backs.
Exactly. Like he's vicious, but like
Yeah.
cruel means like you're holding food out in front of somebody who's hungry. And you're
Yeah.
like, "Ah, ha, ha, ha."
Yeah.
But like, or just like dissecting a cat, you know. But like,
Yeah.
which I think that he's doing the latter.
Yeah. So Gerald wasn't a good boy to the dogs and cats. And after he would find them, he would lure them home and he'd do horrific things to the animals. Neighbors said he would catch stray animals and torture them. We could hear them howl.
Oh, what? Wait, the neighbors or the parents?
The neighbors.
Oh, well, they should have stepped in too. Maybe
Yeah.
they didn't know until after the fact when they found like a pile of 20 dead animals, and they're like, oh,
Yeah.
that was that howling shit.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, so Gerald would gain a lot of pleasure from the poor animals' pain.
that's the first signs of a serial killer, by the way.
Yep. I know. And
The I'm sorry.
Nah.
It's the McDonald's 3 or something like that. That's what it's called. It's like it's
what is it?
cruelty towards animals. I'll use
Yeah.
that same word, cruelty, like
Yeah.
killing animals. It's starting fires
Fires.
and bedwetting.
Oh, okay.
Those are the 3.
The bedwetting is the one I always forget.
Yeah.
That was the only one I didn't have, so I'm
I
clear.
think those are the 3. I'm not I'm like 90% sure.
Yeah.
95. 99. 99.5. Okay.
Sound right to me. So Gerald was a problem outside of home as well. He would never really fit in at school or in social settings. He was just like a weird kid that no one really liked.
Oh, is that why you chose the story? You guys have a lot in common.
A lot. I had to transfer schools.
I smelled like cantaloupe when they kicked me out.
Cantaloupe's delicious.
Yeah, but you don't want to smell like it.
I don't know, there's worse smells.
Cantaloupe filled with cottage cheese. That's what you smelled like.
Ugh.
What are you, 80?
As Gerald became older, he would eventually start to overpower his parents. And he would, it's not funny.
How old is he? How old is he?
I'm not entirely sure. Probably like in his 20s at this point.
Oh, okay.
So he would lock them upstairs in the house as prisoners, and he would feed his parents, but only when he found suitable, which was believed to be like pretty rarely.
How tiny was his dad?
Well, so Gerald would end up being a big beefy dude, and he was standing.
Was the grandpa big?
Yeah, probably.
Big grandpa.
Yeah, big grandpa. So Gerald was 6 feet 4 inches, weighing close to 300 pounds.
Oh, fuck! And he's only 20.
Or so, yeah. He's pretty young,
Early
so
20s.
it was really easy for him to overpower his elderly parents.
Holy shit! They had him late in life because they couldn't have a baby too, so they're probably at this point at least 60, right?
Well, it was also reported at one point he got in a fight with his father, who was around 70 at the time.
Oh, fuck.
And he threw him out a second-story window, leaving his father hanging from a ledge until the local police came to help.
Oh, wow. Good on you, Dad.
Yeah.
Like, I mean,
I want to think that it was like a window with like a like an overhang of a balcony, and he did like a sick barrel roll and like snagged the corner and hung there.
I think there was a slant on the roof, so he tossed him out the window. He did a little roll, then he did a cool little like Jack Reacher like reach.
Yeah, sure.
Jack Reacher reach.
A Jack Reacher reach. I don't never seen Jack Reacher, but I can assume he does a lot of reaching.
Maybe that reference is reaching.
I don't know. We needed a one of those air horns. Right there. Yeah.
That was
Maybe
good.
we can put one in post. I don't know. I don't have the rights to that.
Right to an air horn. Big air horn's gonna sue us.
Yeah. DJ Khaled's coming. So Papa Bettis would die in 1981 after falling ill, or as some like to think, falling ill to a case of a massive child throwing him down the staircase and breaking his neck illness.
Wait, is that how he died?
It's undisclosed.
What does that mean?
So, like, people are like, yeah, that his son threw him down the stairs, and then, like, the official thing was like, oh, he fell sick, but, like, people are like, nah, he got tossed down the stairs and broke his neck.
In any other state, that's a murder.
Yeah.
Like, they would not just sweep that under the rug unless, I mean,
Welcome to Arkansas.
I think
I'm kidding.
I think the scariest thing about that is the fact that now the mom is just stuck with him.
Oh, yeah.
That's super fucking scary.
Yeah.
But maybe like those big like 300-pound, 6'4" Lenny types are like the
Lenny types. Woof.
I just mean, like the big lugging guys who like don't know their own strength.
Sure.
He definitely knew his own strength, but I feel like he might have a soft spot in his heart for his mom a little bit. Like he wouldn't actually like harm her. Maybe just not feed her. Okay, we're gonna find out
Let's
what he's
get
about
into
to
this
do
next
to his
paragraph.
mom.
After the passing of his father, Aline, his mother, fell and broke her hip. And it was severe that she had to go to the hospital. It was a clean break. It wasn't like, like a sprain or anything.
Hip is sometimes death sentence too.
Yeah, at a certain age. So yeah, she was at the hospital where a nurse witnessed Gerald slapping her and threatening his mother that worse things would come if she talked to anyone.
I take it back.
Yeah,
I take
no
it
sweet,
back.
no soft spot.
Can't slap your mom.
Yeah. So his mother would actually, after this, be placed in an adult protective service and was taken away from Gerald and like hidden from.
That is the first time I've ever heard of that.
Yeah. Very uncommon.
Usually it's kids trying to like get what's it called when you emancipated?
Yeah.
They're trying to get emancipated, or they get into a.
And the celebrities are like, you can't touch my money no more.
Yeah, or like they get put into some kind of like program because the parents are beating the shit out of them. So it's like I've never heard of the parent leaving, but when you're that old, jeez.
Yeah. So eventually Gerald would be arrested not only for abusing his mother and potentially his father. He was also arrested for growing the Mary Jane. That's right, kids. You smoke that fucking grass and you'll kill your fucking father.
You smoke that grass.
Kill your dad!
If you smoke that grass, you will grow 6'4", 300 pounds. You might grow 300 pounds.
Like, you might be ready for the NFL, but you're also going to kill your dad.
Yeah, it's in the contract of weed smoking. That's why they outlawed it for so many years. They're like, if you smoke this joint, you have to kill somebody.
Yeah, they're only legalizing it so we get more people in jail and they get more money. It's a long story.
Yeah, just stay away from the devil's lettuce.
Devil's lettuce.
Just makes you
the grass.
Makes you horny. Makes you want to murder.
Horny goat weed.
Makes you want to rob a bank.
Rob a bank, kill your father, break your mother's hip. Forget stepping on cracks. We're not talking about backs no more. We're talking about the hip.
Makes you want to start a cult.
Yep.
Everything
Cults.
is bad.
Get away from
escrow.
the pot.
Escrow makes you want to start an escrow.
Start an escrow, and then next thing you know, you're shot in the back of the head. Did you do it? I don't know who did it. No one knows who did it. You're spitting out Bible verses like it's God knows what.
You smoke
time.
a bowl. Next thing you know, you're writing on a $2 bill in all Spanish. You're just hiding in your underwear. Jesus. Okay.
Say no to drugs. Just do it.
Yeah.
Except for the
just do
psychedelics. The psychedelics are cool, but no, the grass. Stay away from the grass.
Do it all.
Do all of it. Do it while you're young.
Let's find more about Gerald so we don't get bad influences.
Sorry, Mom. So Jared would eventually die at the young age of 34 from a drug overdose.
Thank God. Oh, see what happens? If you're a bad person, do all the drugs.
He injected all the weed and he died.
Yeah. Oh my God. He smoked too much weed, got too fat, got too tall, couldn't get out of the house, starved to death inside the house.
Munchies. He did the old, he ate too many, baked apples, like the,
It wasn't baked apples, they were dried apples.
Dried apples.
Like an apple.
Like
the Gaurau?
Pie. Yeah.
And the Gaurau?
He Gaurau'd himself.
Killed himself. But how did he die? Okay, two questions.
Drug overdose.
Oh, yeah, that's right. We just went over that.
It was in 88, so I don't know. Yeah,
do you know what kind of drug? I'm guessing.
No, I didn't see anything.
I'm guessing maybe heroin, maybe cocaine.
Yeah.
But my question is, this is 88, so Mom's long gone probably, right?
Nope.
What?
That's the next part.
Oh, fuck yeah, let's do it.
Okay. So 7 years later, his mom would pass away, leaving the estate to one Reba Carter.
Who's that?
Doesn't matter because Carter didn't want the fucking house. She sold it immediately.
Well, yeah.
And so then she sold it to.
It's hard when to own a house when you have a 9 foot tall, 800-pound fucking dead overdose drug addict guy on your floor. They couldn't get him out of the house. He's like Gilbert Grape's mom. He had to burn it down.
Burned it down.
So I mean,
I never saw Gilbert Grape.
Oh, that was a spoiler.
But I saw it basically on Family Guy, maybe American Dad, but one of them did like a parody of it where they're like squirrels.
It was American Dad.
And I don't know why I watched that. I feel like it was one of those times when I was watching a YouTube thing and it was up next and I just didn't stop it. But I got halfway through and I was like, holy shit, that's Johnny
Depp?
No, it's they got Jim from The Office. He did the voice of the Johnny
John
Depp squirrel.
Krasinski?
Yeah, he was the Johnny Depp squirrel.
That's right. Well, I love those guys.
Yeah,
anyway.
Sorry. But yeah, so Reba Carter would sell the house to a truck driver named Tony Weaver. But the dog boy didn't stop.
No, he's dead.
Yeah, no, he's dead.
Curveball. Spooky.
Got him.
Ooh, we got a ghost in the house, everybody.
So the Weavers would only live in the house for a few years after claiming to experience paranormal activities. We're talking lights turning on and off on their own. And one time someone, I believe it was Mrs. Weaver, she witnessed a penny, as in, a cent, floating up the stairs.
A scent of what?
Come on.
Cookies?
A penny, no.
It's also
no
called
cookies.
an aroma.
No.
Oh, a penny.
Like one
Lincoln.
cent.
Ooh, that ties into last podcast. Lincoln.
So she saw that coin going right up the stairs.
Floating up the stairs.
Yep.
That you don't see
and
as
then
often.
someone dropped it at the top, and it bounced down the stairs. Tony also said, in quotes, "One day I was working on the house and I saw a man looking through the foyer into the living room. He looked like a World War I soldier, complete with a helmet, and he looked so real. And when he walked into the living room, I ran after him, but no one was there.
Well, it definitely wasn't Gerald, that fat drug addict loser.
Yeah, so...
Mom slapping, dad tossing loser.
So that's one part that I was slightly confused about because it never once mentioned him being... Obviously, he wasn't a World War I vet.
Yeah, that's weird.
So maybe the house was already haunted, driving Gerald insane. Possibility.
Ooh. Okay.
So Weaver still owns the house.
Really?
Which, I mean, okay, so the article I read was in 2007, and I couldn't find an update. So who knows? I mean, that's a significant amount of time.
Yeah.
It's 11 years ago, so probably the house is gone. But at the time of this article, he was still on the house.
Let's just say this: he owned the house for
much longer than he fucking wanted.
Yeah, a substantial amount of time.
And yeah, so he was unable to sell it because of the past. He's invited several mediums and other paranormal investigators to the house where they would come in contact with Gerald Bettis. And Bettis would tell them that he had cursed them and they had to get out of the house.
Oh, fuck. What a fucking asshole.
Yeah.
God, even when he's dead.
Yeah. And some say to this day, you could still hear the dogs howling late at night.
That's a good one.
Yeah, that story, when I was researching it, I didn't know that there was going to be a haunted house at the end. I was just talking about some really fucking crazy dude.
It ties in nicely.
And then it ended up being a haunted house, and I was like, hey.
See, the weird thing is, like, how old was he when he died? 32?
34.
34? See, the surprising thing to me is I'm surprised. Okay.
He's only 6 years older than me.
No, I'm... Oh, are you trying to say that you got 6 years left?
6 years to get real crazy with it.
Killer. But I was going to say that I was really expecting him to go after some people. But I mean, he did. He went after his parents for sure. But that's
who
the thing.
knows?
I was about to say he lives in rural Arkansas, which means that...
it was Little Rock. It's not rural.
Oh, I guess it was Little Rock, huh? I just pictured him out in the middle of, like, rural Arkansas. But... maybe he didn't have as much contact with people. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, so, I don't know. I mean, I just really expected him to, like, really fulfill his destiny of being a murderer.
He could have accomplished so much more.
Oh, my God. Gerald would have been a household name if he just killed more people.
Yeah.
He wasted all this talent on dogs and cats and his parents and shit. Now look at him. He's just a fat ghost in a fucking house.
He really let us down.
Gerald, you're a loser even in your afterlife. Your haunting is weak as shit.
You little bitch.
You're just cursing people. He's like, I curse you. And they're like, what's the curse? And he's like, oh, fuck. It never got this far.
Your Chinese delivery is going to make you sick.
They're going to be like, you're Chinese. And he's like, oh, you made me Chinese? And he's like, yeah, you're Chinese. He's like, doesn't seem like a curse to me. He's like,
this doesn't really change much.
I don't know what curse means. It's like escrow and us. Jesus.
Yeah.
We're so stupid.
Can you guys send us what escrow means?
I'm going to go up to a realtor and be like, what does it mean?
Should we call Alec right now and put him on speakerphone?
I mean, it looks like it's some kind of bond. It seems like it's something like a holding. Like you're holding the house. Okay, totally going to guess. It seems like they're holding the house until you can make like payment on it. Like you solidified everything and now it's an escrow, which means like paperwork is going through because there's...
So you're saying it's like when I call Vaughn's and I say, hey, how many boxes of ice cream sandwiches do you have? And they say, we have 12. I go, put them behind the counter, but in a cold place.
A little bit. It's
Okay.
like if you sent in a check to Vaughn's and you're like, I want to buy these ice cream sandwiches. And they're like, okay, well, we're processing the check to see if it bounces. So, because escrow seems like it's a spot between house for sale and then it goes in escrow and then they go sold. So it looks like they're like, we have a buyer and then we're waiting for all the paperwork to go through and make sure they got the money. And once we get the money, it's sold. Yeah. So escrow means like, ooh, they might be able to fuck up and we can grab the house. So okay. I mean, but that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about Gerald and his shitty haunting, and he makes people Chinese apparently. So I don't know. Maybe. Yeah. Who knows? See.
We will see.
We will see. Are we going to go visit the house?
No. It's fucking Arkansas. I've been to Arkansas once. That was enough.
That house must look shitty now. I got to find that house.
I have a feeling I mean, yeah.
I'm picturing
it's probably knocked down by now.
We got to find it. We got to find a picture or something.
Yeah.
But, well, that was awesome. Gerald.
Dogman.
Gerald's great.
Dog boy.
Dog boy. Dog man.
No, he's not dog man. He's dog boy.
Dog boy.
He's a bad boy.
Did he kill more dogs into his late age?
Probably. Once you start, you can't stop.
That's true. It's very addictive.
So addicting.
Ooh. Especially if it wasn't killing people. I gotta
No.
fill that need. But okay, I think that's all we have for you guys today. I mean, it was fun. It was fun while it lasted.
Yeah.
Chuck Morgan, Gerald, last name?
Bettis.
Bettis. Gerald
Bettis?
Probably
Bettis?
like Jerome Bettis. Everyone's built like a fucking bus.
Yeah, it's a good last name to be
Anyone,
bus-like.
yeah, except for
Bettis the bus.
Exactly. So yeah, that's all we have for you guys today. Thank you guys for listening. Check out campstrange.com for all the hyperlinks. Check out our Instagram. We're most active on Instagram. Come check us out. Twitter, Facebook. I feel like they're kind of dying. I don't know. Maybe I got to reach out more on Twitter. Facebook is kind of like where your aunt goes to post a political shit, and then you're like, oh, God, I didn't know Aunt Shelley was racist or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah.
But so
I mean, I can just start posting weird shit on the Twitter if people really want that.
I'll give you full control of that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So go check out all that stuff. Send us in your spooky stories. We need some more spooks and spacks for all these Tales from the Camp episodes coming up. And rate and review and subscribe on all platforms: Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, and Google Play. No one uses Stitcher or Google Play, but we got to plug it anyway. And yeah, I think that's basically all we got for you guys today. That's the end of my spiel. David, you have anything to say?
I have one thing to say.
Oh, okay.
Give me back that fillet of fish. Give me that fish. Give me back that fillet of fish. Give me that fish. What if it were you hanging up on this wall? If it were you in that sandwich, you wouldn't be laughing at all.
Right now, you can enjoy 2 tasty fillet of fish
Wow,
sandwiches
that's
for
Fillet of
just
Fish
$3.
Fish. That's Frankie the Fish. Hopefully, God, that is $110 item.
No, that was a $181 item.
Fuck, man. It doesn't seem worth it. It seems like we could program our own fish, but damn, that was a good song. So, you guys remember that?
It was stuck in my head the whole time we were recording.
It's a catchy-ass song. Maybe we'll get our hands on one day. That's the goal. But if you have any Fillet of Fish, please let us know. We will buy it off you for less than $180, but we are still willing to pay a high-priced Fillet of Fish.
Man, that's a lot of Fillet O Fish.
It is. Okay, well, thank you guys for tuning in, and as always, remember to stay strange.